Hey YouTube, this is NJ Fullwater 5, and I've got a little Bluetooth speaker. I guess they call it a mini Bluetooth speaker. I built it with 1-inch Dayton audio drivers. They're the CE32A-4s. Had to go with the 4s because this amp would only do, I believe it was 4, 6, 8, and 10 ohms. Luckily these were 3.4 ohms a piece, as you'll see in the video later on. 3.4 ohms each, and together they equaled somewhere around 10.6, 10.8, somewhere around there when they were finally all put together. You'll also see later on, you know, me doing a test video. And just in case I forget to mention it, the music in that test video is copyrighted. It's I had permission to use it, so if you guys want to use the music, you go ahead and check out the link down in the description. It'll have the link to the YouTube video, and you could talk with the guy that runs that site. I guess he does a lot of these kind of you know, music. He does a lot of like mixtapes and stuff like that, or mixtapes, mix jams that sound really good on the stereo. The one that I used has a lot of good information. I mean, these things played it, and I believe it says it does it even at 20 hertz or some crap like that. I'm not really 100% sure. Go ahead and check that video out. It's in the description. I'll do probably the test video. You've probably already seen part of the test video in the beginning of the video, of course, and I'll probably do the test video at the end of the video. In this video, depending on how long it is, I'm going to go ahead and show you how many issues I ran across whenever I was building it, because as anybody knows, DIY never goes as you plan in your head. As you can see, I would like to thank JLPCB for making this video possible. Thank you, JLPCB, for sponsoring this project. JLPCB is one of the largest prototype enterprises in China, with over 10,000 PCB prototypes ordered and produced per day. The monthly overall capacity is 4,000 square meters, where they do 1-layer, 2-layer, or multi-layer prototype boards. Upload your Gerber file today for a low special price of $2 and get quality PCBs at your doorstep in as little as 3 days. You'll see in the video I had the actual parts sitting here and all that stuff. It ended up not being this difficult. I started off thinking I was going to use two batteries, or 4 batteries in series, or 4 batteries in parallel, with a boost converter to 12 volts. And then I decided to take that out and just use the boost, the part of the TP4086, you know, the kind that has the protection circuit. Then I found out that it was going to be too big for that too. So in the long run, I thought I was going to be using a 12-volt battery. I had built something like this. Thought this was going to work, thought it was going to fit. Got it in there, and it was pushing against the passive radiator, so I had to come up with another idea. Luckily, I had a couple, I actually had a set of, it was a lithium polymer. I got those out of old, actually a fairly recent Harman Kardon. It had a 3S, it had one 3S 1P lithium polymer battery in it that was, it said they were 2,500 milliamps, but when I tested it, it went up to 27. So I got like 2775. Anyways, it was, because of its size, it was like longer, so it fit right in there, and it was skinnier. So you'll see how it ended up, how I ended up thinking this was going to be really difficult. How many issues I ran across. So I ended up having to add pieces just to make it wider, because the speaker drivers didn't fit, you know, even though I swear I measured before I cut everything, you know, measure twice, cut once, measure 3 times, cut once, or however that works. In the end, I got it together. It ended up being fairly simple. I'm gonna do the schematics real quick, and then once I do the schematics, I'm gonna run the video on, you know, the build. So here we got the TPA 3110 D2 with Bluetooth. Just put the Bluetooth over here. Speaker, power, speaker, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. And then from that, I went ahead and ran these straight to the speakers. Speakers are in series. Same with the other side. Because this is a 15 watt amp at 4 ohms. It said 12 volts, 2 amps max, but the research I did, people were saying that typically it only asks for 12 volts, probably 0.8 to 0.4 amps. So I mean, I got a 2500 milliamp battery, so it'd probably give me a good 15-hour play. Anyways, 15 watts was going to be too strong for these because each of these speakers were 2 watts each. So I was getting 2, 4, 6 with a max of 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, the max of 12, 6, the max of 12. Later on found out that it's smarter to pick an amp that's way above your speakers. It kind of keeps, they're kind of, from what I gather, people are always trying to match them directly, and they end up, you know, burning out the amp pretty quick. In the long run, with the 12 volts that I put in there and these being 10 ohms, I think I got pretty close to probably about 8 watts each. Maybe a little bit under, probably 7, maybe even 6. But they work perfectly. The positive and negative power I put directly to, I had a DC jack in, and there's one that has the 3 prongs in the back. One is for I guess these 2 are the negative and this one's the positive, and I guess when you plug it in, it cuts the power to whatever's connected to this side. So I went ahead and hooked this up directly to the negative, the one that cuts power when you plug it in. That way the power doesn't go to the amp. I want to run straight off the battery. From here I connected it to a switch that cut off in here, and then I had a LED that I connected directly to that, so that well, it's actually got connected over here, so that every time it was on, the LED would come on and let me know that it was on. The battery was pretty simple. I went ahead and put the positive to the positive side, which went to this also, and the negative to the negative terminal. So when you go to plug in the DC jack, it'll cut the power to this, just by some chance if I have it on. More likely it's going to be off when I go to charge. And it'll cut the power off and just charge the battery. I also left the balancing cables, and on the back you'll see I added this on here so that I could keep the battery balanced, because I'm kind of leery of lithium polymer. I really don't like using it too much, but I have used them in the past, and it actually bailed me out of a tight situation in this one. So that's what it is. It's just simple.
Alright, so I've gotten to a point of putting the insides to this, and I've come into some issues. First issue is I thought a 3S would fit if I put it at an angle, and the only issue I'm finding is that if I do that, these capacitors will hit the other bladder, so I don't get to go with this battery. I'll have to use that in another project later on. But I did have this from a Harman Kardon that I pulled apart, one of the newer ones, and this battery says it's a 2500 11.1 volt, but each one of these are 27 or 28, I believe, because they measure out at 2775 whenever I do a capacity test. So using this battery, it should fit. If I put it on the bottom and I place this on the top, and I'm going to drill some holes, and I'm going to be adding something like this on the inside so I can keep it balanced.
Alright guys, that was my take on this Bluetooth speaker. As you could see by the test results, if I play them after or if I play them before, I'm not really sure. This thing sounds great. I was quite impressed. Looked like the only flaw I had with the speakers was it looks like right here, if you kind of see, there's a little divot there, and looking at it, it almost looks like they got glue on it or something. I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't affect the way it plays. Everything still remained airtight. My saw was a little crooked, and I have to go back and I'm gonna have to test that out, because you know, it's been forever since I actually used it, but I was able to kind of straighten it out a little bit. You'll see all the struggles I had. There's no air leaks in it. This thing sounds great. So I guess you know, if you have any questions, or of course, you know, if you've seen something in the video you thought I could have done differently, or something you have a comment on, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll check you guys out in my next video.